Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So thanks for joining me today for this video talking about 5 ways to let go of things you cannot control. There's so much happening in the world today and I have so many thoughts on various videos. My mind is going everywhere that I don't even know where to begin or where to focus, or just focus on personal spiritual growth or talk about what's going on in modern times through a spiritual lens or the age of Aquarius. There's so much happening that a lot of the change in the world is happening very drastically and very quickly, and it's starting to freak a lot of people out. And I'm going to do a separate video on this, but we pretty much do live in a society of control freaks, specifically in America, where we are so addicted and hooked up to technology and social media use more than other Western countries that I've at least visited or lived in. In Europe, they tend to mind their own business a little bit more. They're not as public online. That's drastically changing though. It's compared to things that happened when I lived there 6 years ago. So anyways, there's so much going on that I just want to talk about certain things because it will help bring some peace or serenity to your mind or to your existence during this time of rapid change. But to understand that there are things that you can control in your life and the things that you can't control. And the things that you can't control, you can still be proactive on certain things to help improve a situation or to voice an opinion on something that you feel very strongly about. I did write a blog on this, so it is posted down below that you're more than welcome to go ahead and read that. So the first thing is to understand your circle of concern and your circle of influence. Because we live in a society where we want to control everything, and with social media, everybody wants to control everybody on what they say or not to be this or not to be that. This control freak mentality has really pushed barriers beyond what people understand of their immediate circle of concern and circle of influence. So a circle of concern encompasses the wide range of concerns that we have, such as our health, our children, problems at work, the amount of government borrowing, or maybe like a threat of war. A circle of influence encompasses those concerns that we can do something about. So, for example, you cannot control other people or other politicians. In reality, the only thing that you can control are your own actions, thoughts, and behaviors. And that's part of most spiritual philosophy, in addition to a lot of the yamas and niyamas in the Yoga Sutras. So, for example, you cannot control the current president. You cannot control your current governor. However, you can be proactive in doing some things to help influence that thought or action or that policy that you want to see changed or altered. You can write letters to the governor or the president. You can sign petitions. You could do some social media activism, but there is a border and a boundary to understand that there are certain things that you can and cannot control. Most of what's happening right now, we're getting so upset on a lot of national things that are rapidly changing, and it can definitely eat away your well-being. However, regardless of whether you agree or not, you just have to be able to separate that boundary to bring some peace to the situation while still bringing awareness to things that, you like, for example, if you're anti-vaccination, maybe you're bringing awareness or posting articles on things, but understanding that you cannot control even other people. They might tear you apart online, and that's going to be part of the process of these certain things. But letting go of even what other people think, at some point you just got to stop caring or giving a crap of what your public image is, or what, if somebody's going to delete you just because you don't believe in like a vaccination or something like that. The second way to start to let go of things you cannot control is understanding the Maya, or the illusion. So in the yoga philosophy, they talk about Maya, which is illusion, which basically talks a lot about how this material world, or this existence in the material world, is an illusion. So on a soul level, we technically don't really own anything, but in the human experience, we do own various possessions and things like cars and stuff like that. One of the scariest parts about the Great Reset is that I feel like a lot of these things are using spiritual philosophies, but using it in a more sinister way, like that quote saying you won't own anything and you'll be happy. That does have some spiritual undertones to it. You know, it's like being poor but being happy. And I've experienced that through my travels in third world countries like in Fiji and in the Dominican Republic, where people were living a very simple life. However, when the government takes away your things, like they did during various other eras of the Nazi era or through communism, that's a completely different thing. There is a choice between minimalism and then being forced of having your stuff taken away. So the illusion of the Maya is that you are in full control. And in reality, if one believes in God or believes in divine, that being, God, is in control of everything on the planet, and he's in control of the darkness. He will allow some darkness to gain speed or to gain some light in order to wake society up, or to bring rapid change to the society, to be like, hey, you know what, maybe we are falling a little bit off the path. That's what a lot of people have thought about. You know, they've been talking about this great awakening for so long. However, they just said, like, people weren't really awakening until you needed a full shock, and a full pandemic needed to happen in order for some people to see what's happening. So the illusion of Maya that, we are in control of everything is an illusion, because we are only and solely in control of ourselves. So we are in control of our thoughts, our actions, and our behaviors, in addition to our reactions to certain things. In this society of control freaks, everybody wants control of everything. Don't say this, don't say that, don't do this, you're racist if you do that. So it's beginning to go a little overboard on certain things. And if you understand the dark triad of narcissism, psychopathy, you understand that a lot of narcissists are deeply rooted control freaks. They want everything my way, their way. And that is, narcissism is the dark side of the Aquarius energy and the Aquarius spirit. In my opinion, the age of Pisces, the very dark side of Pisces, they're the sociopaths of the zodiac. So we are moving from that dark energy of sociopathy into narcissism. All right. So the third thing is, if you do believe in God or the divine, you have a deep innate trust that everything in life will work out, that whatever negative situation, or some, religious people say trials and tribulations, whatever you are going through, that is part of your path, and you are sent there to do some soul growth, some soul learning. I sat in my therapist's office years ago and said, I really think I had to go through a divorce in order to kind of wake up or shock my system to understand some things on a deeper level in terms of lessons of love. So if you do believe that God ordains everything, or that he is in ultimate control of everything on this planet and in your life path, you will understand that everything in life will work out at its own divine timing. We cannot control that part of it. That's the control freak society. Everybody wants things fast, like a computer. It doesn't work like that. The divine in nature has its own timing. We cannot force a seed into a pot and then expect to get a nice little plant in 24 hours. That's what people want. They want that little, power button or like a light switch, a power button that's on the computer, or a light switch on the wall. It doesn't work like that. Things organically happen in its own timing. Love is a lot like that. You might have these ups and downs throughout this path, but eventually some things will work out if it's meant to happen. All right, so the fourth thing is to make peace with the situation. And a lot of this is understood through the serenity prayer. So making peace with the situation, that is through kind of radical surrender, or radical, having no control, radical uncontrol. I don't know what the word would be for that, but a lot of spiritual theories or texts or whatever, lineages, they talk about different mantras or sayings or prayers that kind of help people make peace with a situation. The more you make peace with situations in your life, the easier making peace is at other situations in the future. It's like a snowball effect, or it's just like doing math. The first time a child does multiplication, it's probably really difficult, but eventually it becomes easier and easier. You don't need a pen and paper. You can do this stuff off in your head. But the one thing the Serenity Prayer has done is that it actually helps people cope and make peace with various situations. It's why organizations like Alcoholics Anonymous will use the Serenity Prayer, because it is very healing in that specific situation to try to get people off of substance abuse. So the Serenity Prayer is, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. Taking, as Jesus did, the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it. Trusting that you will make all the things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. So that is actually a really amazing and beautiful text and saying, because it really does just grant this ultimate surrender to the higher power. However, I don't believe in just being passive in the sense that you don't make any action or change on this planet. But for example, if you have that, it's like a math equation. If you have ultimate surrender and trust coupled with, action or change or helping yourself on this planet, you're going to equal yourself out into a better situation. So things will evolve as it's meant to, kind of taking things one step at a time instead of just, okay, I attended AA once, now all of a sudden I'm a recovered alcoholic. Like, it doesn't work like that. You have a lot of behavioral changes in addition to a lot of physiological changes that have to happen, because your body is probably craving that high or that buzz. The brain is like addicted to having some sort of altered substance in its body. So things do evolve and change, but it's just making peace with the situation. It's not beating yourself up for the things that you've done or that have led you to this point. When I worked a lot with morbid obesity, I was working with people that were 350 to 500 pounds, and it's a psychological problem. I would say like 80-90% of it, 10%, 20% was the eating problem, but the eating problem came because they wanted to cope with some emotional trauma or some emotional high that they were trying to seek from food, specifically from sugar. And a lot of these people just completely beat themselves up, because it doesn't, to get to 350 pounds, unless you're doing really radical eating, it can take years to get there. So it's all of these, they're looking back at their life and just beating themselves up for all of this change that they forced on their body over years. But at that point, you have to cut yourself from the past and just make acceptance of the past in order to move yourself forward. It's like, I did it, I'm learning from this situation, and I'm continuously pushing myself forward to evolve. So the fifth and final thing, it kind of ties up with the last one, is just, mind your own business. When you want to let go of things you cannot control, minding your own business is a very sacred art that we have lost in this society. And the Bible even talks a lot about it. 1 Thessalonians 4:11-12 talks about, I guess this is the ESV version, and to aspire to live quietly and to mind your own affairs and to work with your hands as we instructed you, so that you may walk properly before outsiders and be dependent on no one. I'm not saying just to be quiet. For example, if you're not an advocate of what the hell is happening on a national level, I'm not saying just to mind your own business and be quiet, because that's where, these spiritual principles of turning thy cheek is being used against us. Evil can go against good, kind-hearted people and take advantage of them just because they're supposed to turn thy cheek. That's not what I'm saying. more or less, if you want to stop caring or just stop worrying about things that are out of your control, these are the more immediate things like that you see on social media. I see shit every single day that pisses me off on social media, but I choose not to comment, not to make some little gif with an eye rolly thing. I just move on with my day and just be like, you know what, that person is on its own path. Let them do what they need. You know, I live in Seattle and I have a different viewpoint of progress as compared to what the political viewpoint of progress is. You know, it's about spiritual growth. Oops. Oh, this cat, sorry. Spiritual growth and learning how to grow yourself spiritually, quantum physics. That's my viewpoint. I don't agree with a lot of this other crap that's happening. However, it's out of my control. That person believes what he or she believes in. They're probably not going to change just because I start some egoic fire on their post and social media. And in reality, everybody on their own Facebook wall has their own right to do whatever they want. That's how we've lived our lives in America. You can do whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can ingest whatever substance you want. So that's the sense. You just got to let go and just let people be, or just accept them for who they are. If they're a close friend or family member, just don't talk about certain subjects with them. Because it can, be a hot button topic. So anyways, my blog link is posted below. I hope these ideas kind of help you transform some thoughts on how to make peace in the current situation of your own personal life, but also things that are happening. And just know ultimately we can control our own immediate thoughts, actions, I guess reactions as well, and behaviors. But we cannot control other people. We can help influence and hopefully change people through a long period of time, but not radically change them in a sense of, coming at it from like a combative way. This cat is driving me nuts. Okay, thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and see you next time. Bye-bye.